Hey guys, Ryan Jensen. Hey, just going to give you a quick walkthrough around this unit. We just took this van on vacation with us to Branson, about a 3-hour drive, brought 2 little kiddos with us. So I wanted to just give you the pluses and the minuses, the pros and the cons, the good, bad, the ugly, how our trip went, how this thing drove, etc., etc. This is a 2021 Roadtrek Zion van. Notice it's got the Ram there. That's a Dodge Gas. It's a Ram. It actually drove really good. I was very impressed. I've driven the Sprinter, driven the Mercedes. This thing actually has more guts than the Mercedes Sprinter does in the van. I know that's surprising, but it really did. It drove great. So I'm going to take you around the outside really quick. There's not a whole lot different about this one, but it's only 20 feet long. So the difference between, you know, this one and some of these Sprinter vans, the Sprinters are more like 25. This is a 20 foot. It's a little mini. Notice how short that little thing is. It's very easy to park everywhere. That was one of the big deals for me. So you still got the 2 doors that flip around the edge, just like a Sprinter van does. I've got my little temp tag there. Not a whole lot of exciting stuff here. This is kind of cool because it's got a power step as you walk in, you know, just something special, something different. That is kind of a big step up on the vans, I've noticed. So I'm just gonna walk right in here. We do have leather seats, leather upholstery. Okay, so good things. Let's talk about the good here. Number one, this got about 13 miles to a gallon. When you're talking gas, I was doing 75, 80 the whole time. There's no governor on this thing. So I did slip up to 90, 95 a couple of times just to see what this thing had. Did really good. I was very impressed with it. And I was still able to go up hills and not get passed by everybody, and that's the opposite of what I normally experience in a Mercedes Sprinter. There is like a mile per gallon thing. It's not showing right now. This one has about 15,000 miles, but this got about 13 miles to a gallon. The cruise control, not super impressed by it. Does have it. You have to do this to turn this thing on, and it doesn't do very good. It catches sometimes it doesn't, but again, this thing's got a whole different gear when it's going up a hill. You got volume on the steering wheel. You've got radio right there in the steering wheel. Pretty plain Jane little stereo system here. I like the dials. Those are easier to use. Bluetooth, we used a little bit. Not super impressed by it. Kind of a small screen, but did the trick. I got music up here. There are speakers in the back on this, so you can fade back or front if you want it with the kiddos. One thing I do like is a lot of cup holders. You got a cup holders there, cup holder there, cup holder there. And this has a little, my daughter put some flowers in there, but I was actually putting my phone right here and here for GPS. And then obviously you've got this little ledge up here where I like to keep my phone, and that goes all the way through. So that was nice. And then a few more spots there, another cup holder there. So 6 cup holders, a lot of dash option there. Make sure I didn't miss anything here, but those were both great. Something I didn't like, every time my wife got through here, had to get up and go to the kiddos. Number one, she hit her head here, and then she hit her head here. So there were 2 different head spots where she kept hitting her head as she went in. And then the other thing is this seat is weight sensor, which means every time she got up, it released her. When she got back in, it started beeping like crazy. And listen, I'm all about safety. I'm all about, you know, hey, remind you to put your seatbelt on. But this is like a fire alarm. If you sit in this chair when this is going down the road, it will beep you and annoy you like crazy. So that was one of the downers. I'm like, hey, listen, I believe in seatbelts, but that's a little over sensuous. So that was kind of a bummer for us. Couple things here real quick. Number one, this has got dual solar and lithium battery setup. So you've got these 2 buttons here. This thing will generate a ton of power. Between this and your inverter, you can run everything on this coach. There is a generator, a small generator in front in the engine that powers everything and will recharge all this stuff. But there's not an actual generator, you know, so if you're at an RV park, you don't have to worry about, you know, them saying you can't have a generator on. You can actually run this AC back here with these 2 batteries in this inverter. So that's a pretty awesome deal. Your refrigerator's right here. I ran this off of one of these the entire time. So I turned one of these on, and it kept that fridge running cold the entire time. I never turned it off, and I had enough battery. We were there 3 or 4 days. I had enough battery for the weekend. Let's talk about the bathroom real quick. The bathroom's right inside, right outside these doors. It's a good and a bad thing there. Number one, the bad thing we experienced was this right here continued to pop off every stop and bend with these doors. You can see that's loose right now. I tried to jam this back in, but it kept coming loose. And as a result, this door won't shut properly. And so every time we made a turn, these 2 doors flew open. And that was a huge bummer. It would, hit my chair every time I came over and make a bunch of noise. So that was a bummer. But other than that, it's great. There's no problems. You do have a little shower up there. Nothing much more to say about that. Let's go ahead and walk through here. You do have a sink, burners right there. There's my Mountain Dew can. This does have a microwave. Again, you can run this microwave off of your inverter and those two juicers. So you don't, again, need a generator to run the microwave. That's kind of a big deal. And then you've got kind of this seat area back here. Before I go into that, let me go to some storage. There is actually a lot of storage in here. So this is not my favorite floor plan, let me say that, but we did not have any issues with storage. We were able to store all of our belongings, all of our stuff, because there are really hidden storage compartments everywhere in here. In fact, I've still got some of my stuff there. I'm glad I opened that. That would have been a bummer. And then going back to the back, we haven't detailed this yet since we just got back, but pluses and minuses, these seats are great. You've got some extra padding there. We actually stored our suitcases right there. There's actually more storage behind there. This is actually a bed that lays down to a full bed. The downer is, because the seats are so far back, every time we hit a bump, I saw little heads bobbing up and down there, bobbing up and down. If there wasn't a seatbelt there, I'm telling you, they would have been hitting the roof. I mean, there is so much lack of shock absorption back there, and that our kids were bouncing all around like crazy. We drove up Highway 44, Interstate 44, so there's very minimal bumping once we got on that highway, and we were thankful for that. However, every time we got off a main road, man, they bobbed and bumped up and down, and that was kind of a bummer. So other than that, though, there's a TV right there that also runs off that inverter, and that was easy. That worked out great. Your DVD player's in there as well. Other than that, man, I'd give this thing a solid 7 or 8 out of 10. As far as the drive goes, I'm a big part of the drive guy, and the drive was great. The juice was great. It has a lot of engine juice. And again, I think it drove better than the Sprinters do. Again, 2021 Roadtrek Zion. Let me get you a front shot of this thing again. Again, you know, the vans are super popular right now. So, man, check one out. If you have any questions about this one, let me know. 2021 Roadtrek Zion with the Ram chassis.